Beyond. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Podcast Beyond.
No. We just started a new podcast called Episode.
It's just the new podcast name is
the
just
podcast.
Welcome to a new
episode
podcast.
67.
67.
I'm your host, Chris Roper, editor-in-chief of the IGN PlayStation team. We got a full crew plus one today. We'll get to the plus one. We'll get to the Ed Boon. No, he's Noob Sabat is gone. Greg Miller, what's up?
Nothing. I bought an iPhone.
You did.
Very excited.
Yeah.
I gotta mute mine right now.
It's just all you have to do is slide a little thing down.
Yep.
How easy is that?
So
this
nice.
phone's revolutionary. It's got a little silence thing on the side. I love this thing.
Jeff Haynes, what is going on?
Not too much. Not
you
too
and your
much.
what do you got there? Do you got
I've got my Motorola.
you got the Razor.
Yeah, my Razor.
Ryan Clements.
I want to be the class secretary.
How's that working for you?
That's fine. And our plus one today, he hasn't been on the podcast in about a year since my kid was born, but Sam Bishop is up in here.
What's up, party people?
Freelancer extraordinaire. If you guys don't read the authored line under the headlines for articles,
Of course they don't.
Then you may want to know Sam writes most of our PS2 reviews these days.
Yeah.
Does and puts together a lot of our features for us.
He's joining Podcast Beyond.
Beyond?
Clearly, we've jumped the shark. We're adding a new character. He's the Oliver to our Brady Bunch.
I'm the cute, spunky kid. I'm Olivia from the Cosby Show.
No.
Yep.
I just watched the
Cousin
Cosby Show
Pam
recently.
was the
There you
bigger
go.
one.
Are you the DiCaprio to our growing pains?
Yes, exactly. That is exactly it.
See, remember this now though is Olivia's doing pretty well for herself.
Yeah,
name,
actually, she's
surprisingly
That's
well?
Raven
Yeah.
Simone. Yeah, Raven
Yeah.
Simone.
So, yeah, there you go. So
Yeah, and what happened to Keisha Knight Pulliam, the girl that was actually the
She was in
original?
High Fidelity, right? With John
Barbershop
Cusack.
2.
Was she?
And, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no,
And a
yeah, I'm
couple
thinking
other-
of Denise. You're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Rudy.
no,
Yeah,
Rudy,
Rudy too.
exactly, Rudy.
Rudy's
Rudy
No,
was,
Rudy's done-
she was in Barbershop too.
Rudy.
And Denise,
hot.
Yes,
What?
that's how
Rudy
I
Are you
reviewed it.
serious?
Oh my God!
Holy
that,
God.
Denise did that for the college paper.
Alright,
and that
yeah, I'll
was
take-
my
girl-
only thing
girl
takeaway from the
grew up.
movie.
remember
And
also
she
Denise
looks
was in Enemy
nice.
of the State. So I think so long as you're
there you
not
go. Yeah,
Theo.
Uncomfortable.
He's directing.
Oh,
Is he?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he directs
right.
stuff now.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, the whole most of the show at least is doing pretty well.
And Benet's going back to TV, which is scary.
Yep. So there you go.
Eek.
And Bill doesn't really need to do much to make the Jello pudding
Jell-O
pops.
pudding.
Exactly.
He makes crazy statements.
me the
once in a while.
pudding. I'm gonna wear a sweater.
It's like a cacophony of Cosby.
Man, why did they ever stop that show? What was the one? You know the cartoon? It was a House of
Fat Albert?
Cosby's.
Oh, man.
Everyone needs to go to YouTube and watch House of Cosby's. They only got like 5 episodes out before Bill Cosby put a cease and desist on it. But it was awesome.
Oh.
All right. Enough with the Cosby Show. Let's get to the road report.
Time for some news.
So the week's news is largely kind of meh. There's nothing groundbreaking up in here, but let's go through this anyway. It's release season, so
Up in this piece,
yeah, all
would
the
you
news
say?
is already out. There's some good stuff here. Boring part is that firmware 2.52 is out.
Finally,
Meh, doesn't really do anything.
improved
Well,
stability of PlayStation 3
yeah.
video
Yeah,
playback.
and it did improve, at least for me, the just the whole navigation of keyboard. Once you're in game, even the XMB is a little bit better on some games because it was. I don't know if you guys tried messaging at all, and pretty much any game.
Yeah.
And it was just a little laggy and stuff. Little Big Planet was
I
the
never
worst.
noticed the lag.
Really?
though. Yeah.
Yeah. Little Big Planet was really bad for me. Like
Really?
I'd hit the button and literally like half a second later, that would finally start moving.
No, I never had that.
Well,
The bad news is
curse?
that
Come on, Sam. This is why we kept you up a year. A year.
I said ship.
yeah.
Oh, ship.
Yeah.
Well, I'm marking. Anyway.
Ryan's
Secretary.
Ryan's supposed to be taking notes, so there you go. He's
I'm just
giving you
helping
work
you
to
do
do.
your job, man. Yeah. Giving you
Bad
a-
news of the day is that DJ Max Fever has been delayed to Q1 of 09. Ryan, you've been playing the game.
Yes,
You like
I have. I like it a lot. It's very cool.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
hard.
Look forward to that one.
It is extremely hard.
Speaking of Q1, Skate 2 was coming out in Q1, but now we know the month.
What month?
Thanks to Mirror's Edge, we got final retail copies. There's a little insert telling us that Skate 2 will be out in January.
Thanks, EA.
Very good. So we don't know the date yet. EA wouldn't tell me the specific date, but they were like, yeah, we weren't going to announce that for a couple weeks, but I guess go ahead and write about it.
Do you
So we
think there
did.
will be hoverboards in this game?
No.
I hear it's a snowboarding game.
No, that's not the right
Oh.
one.
I hear that Sam
You should better
Vanelona
take
is-
better notes.
Yeah.
Skate 2,
not
not a
snowboard.
snowboard.
Coming out also early next year is Burnout Paradise Ultimate Box. Which basically, if you have Paradise, it's useless to you for the most part. But it basically sticks all of the downloadable content into the game. So if you don't have Burnout, it makes you don't have to download stuff. And if you don't have it, you should get it. But what's pretty cool about this also is that coming with the box set is going to be the new Party Play add-on, which if you already own the game, you can get as downloadable content, which is up to 8-player past the pad type stuff. So there's going to be, do this, it'll give you a goal of some sort, and everybody goes around the room and tries it. Sort of like how Crash Mode used to be back in like Burnout 2 days. But this has apparently more to it. So, might have to do some flips or whatever, and, you pass it around. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
BioShock downloadable content is coming out November 20th. For the fee of $9.99, which makes it $3.33 per challenge room, as there's going to be 3 included. So let's hope
Jeff's played some of those.
I have.
How are they?
You know what? They're actually pretty challenging. We're gonna have a hands-on a little bit later on tonight / tomorrow.
Ooh.
But they're surprisingly good as far as the challenge actually is a challenge. It's more than Survivor ever is. It has a lot more restriction on the amount of items, ammo that you get to the point where you're pretty much stripped away from having everything. You only have a few plasmids and Eves and everything. You have to make your way through these complex rooms. And one of the ones that I saw, it was a smattering of rooms with different themes, and you have to try to figure out how to get through it with your limited amount of equipment. And each challenge room also has multiple difficulty levels too, so you can add on to the challenge and make it even harder for you.
Don't spoil it too much. You got to wait for the written article to go up there.
What he's saying
there's
is
the-
that
everything.
the challenge rooms are challenging.
Yes.
Yes. Valkyria Chronicles downloadable content is coming early 09.
Nice.
Brian's very excited about this one. It'll have.
Hey, Secretary, calm down.
Ryan, please add on to this one since you're the Valkyria dude in the office right now. There's going to be a new mission
I'm the
and
Valkyria
some new
dude.
modes.
Well, it's a new story mission, I'm assuming, although I don't actually know. And the new modes is actually just the new extra difficulty that adds on to all the skirmishes, which are extra battles you can do for experience.
There
This
you
is
go.
the stuff that was released in Japan.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, I
already
was
out.
just
This
gonna
was
say
already out in Japan.
So now we're going to be up to par.
Now it's coming here.
That's the end of the news for today. Let's find out what games hit stores this week.
It's another FAT, the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. Whoa! Ryan just poked me in the cheek.
Uncomfortably close.
Wow.
He wanted to see what kind of shave you got. What kind of razor you use?
An electric one that desperately needs the top changed.
Oh man,
Like it's probably needed for a long
I
time.
had one of those with a little cut in it.
Yeah.
Like there was a little hole in the razor. It just sliced my face up.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't use electric anymore.
I got sick of it. It takes. I guess it doesn't. Probably wouldn't take that long anymore. Like I really need to change this because it's one of those things you go over and then you run your hands or your face to do it again. You
Yeah.
find all the spots and it doesn't work. Anyways, PlayStation 3 gets Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. That also comes in a limited edition. Resistance 2, History Channel, Civil War, Secret Missions, Tom Clancy's End War, Quantum of Solace, Madagascar Escape to Africa, also known as M:E2A, Legendary Baja 1000. PS2 gets History Channel, Civil War, Secret Missions, Quantum of Solace, Dragon Ball Z, Infinite World, Monster Lab, M:E2A, NHL 09, Secret Service Ultimate Sacrifice.
Whoa.
I have not heard of this one, nor have I
Man.
seen it on the review list,
No.
and I am wholeheartedly volunteering to review this one.
All right.
Sweet.
Wait, okay, finish the list. We got to come back to that game though.
PSP gets Tom Clancy's End War.
I think
Alright, that was not it.
Valkyria Chronicles did come out this week, right? So was
Yeah,
that
okay.
on the list?
Oh yeah.
Greg, I don't hear it on the list.
I didn't. I probably just got confused and cut
okay.
it off.
There you go.
But it is out this week.
Very good. So there's another one.
And it's good, so-
Going back to Secret Service Ultimate Sacrifice, I want to know what the Ultimate Sacrifice is.
You die. You
die.
sacrifice.
You have
That's
to
got to be the
sacrifice
final
yourself.
thing.
It's got to be a really grandiose way of going out.
gotta
though.
be a quick
If
time
if
event.
it's ultimate,
You
then
have got to
I
take
think
the
I
bullet.
think there's a bigger sacrifice. Like, do you have to take your family out with you? Do you take down the country to save one person?
I just
I
The
think that-
baby in your wife's belly is plotting to assassinate the president. And you have to jump with like one of those serving trays, and when he shoots the bullet through your wife's stomach, reflect it back in a way like the baby's only it's only like second trimester. You reflect
okay.
the bullet back through your wife's head, killing the mom and the killer baby.
See, I think you have to jump to the point where you block the magic bullet and all of its deflections. That would be
Yeah.
the ultimate sacrifice because you're.
Well, that
doing
would just be the ultimate
It's like
challenge.
Also, she's
That
the
would be
president or
ultimate
something.
challenge.
You're pimp slap.
also she's the president.
She's the president because it's the Secret Service. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes sense.
Very
We got it all figured out already. This game's great.
Do we have any news from Blog Mac about what's in the PlayStation Network today?
Vlognet finished voting, and he came back with at least 5 things. Buzz Quiz Pack Comedy should be coming out today. There should be new Little Big Planet content, including what was
Spaceman?
shown, the Spaceman
Yeah.
Sackboy, the Halloween Sackboy, and potentially a Motorstorm Sackboy.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
a lot of people, including myself, were giving them crap for putting the Halloween Sackboy out a week after Halloween. They're just early, getting ready for next Halloween.
Next
That's all they
Halloween.
do.
There you go.
That's what it's doing.
There should be new Ultimate Ninja Storm Naruto content.
Naruto.
That's pretty cool. They're actually
but
dishing that stuff out for free.
Isn't the
Yeah.
whole thing new though? Because it just came out.
Yeah, it just
So-
came out this week.
Yeah, you.
I would
figure-
have waited at least a week.
Yeah,
Well-
you figure you let people that are like super excited about the game that are also going to get the DLC play the regular game for a week,
And
then give it to them next week and have them come back.
You
again.
would think, but
you know.
apparently it's coming. But just to counter that nonsensical situation with another one, Metal Gear Solid 4 is being released as a demo on the PSN today, which makes no
What?
sense whatsoever.
Christmas, man.
I guess, but
if you've somehow never
if you've
played,
never played it,
if you've never played
don't know how
it,
to do
and,
it.
and
Little game.
we're somehow interested in it to the point where you're like, I'm going to wait and see on this game.
I'll wait for 5 months.
10.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All these
been
reviews,
higher.
I can't be totally sure, so I'm going to hold off for
And,
half a year.
Like pulling up the rear of that entire thing is core.
Oh
Oh,
god.
thank God. Real quick on the Metal Gear
Pulling
Solid
up
4
the
thing.
rear.
If you enjoy the demo of Metal Gear Solid 4 today, I'm thinking of eBaying my limited edition Metal Gear Solid
Why?
4.
Oh, man.
With the, when am I going to play it again?
I don't. But it's,
I don't know, but hang on to it. It's limited edition. You know?
Yeah.
No.
You paid extra money just for the.
And I'm done, and I've gotten all the utility I want out of it.
Oh,
great.
And the guide.
Yeah,
and
you
I will
never know.
sign the box. Podcast, you
Wait,
fans.
sign it. Hideo Kojima.
If
Just
No,
no, I'll sign it, Greg Miller.
Here's what you do: don't sign it yet. Say could be signed by, optionally signed by. So if somebody wins the bid, then they tell you whether they want you to sign it or not.
Okay.
Some people might just want it
I like
without
that.
the
I like
signature.
that.
They might want my signature.
If you're interested in it, though,
You're not selling it.
send something to beyond@ign.com saying so, and I will email you the link when it goes live.
There you go.
Oh, damn.
There's gonna be-
snaps.
Yeah, good luck dealing with all those emails. I guess backlogging them until you get it up there.
Boom.
Yeah. I was trying to
Just
figure
going to
out
turn it into a giant
what-
eBay auction.
I predict maybe 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
right, we will.
People just want to watch it, see what happens. Mm-hmm. My wife's a big
I see
eBayer
what you're
now.
Yeah.
She's selling like headphones for 99 cents and stuff.
Hey, you
did
gotta
it for
get
a while.
that. You gotta get your rating up. You
Back
know.
when I was in Missouri still, at one point I sold a year's subscription of back issues of Maxim. And some dude bought them all. Like, they actually got into a bidding thing. I only got like 15 or 20
eBay is
bucks for it, but
amazing.
still, I was like, wow, you really want all these old issues of Maxim? Sure,
That's
go
frightening.
ahead.
Well, I mean, there's recipes and stuff in
You
there.
could see those suckers from space.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
Valuable
right,
articles.
pick of the
The
week.
black.
Of the week.
We don't have too many options on this list. A lot of the games here are crap. But
What?
Yes.
M:E2A.
that one is not in the crap list. Actually, it is.
Yeah.
I was saying,
in sarcasm.
more like
not.
well, we got Resistance.
Yeah.
Valkyria.
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 Clearly.
Naruto's very good, actually.
It gets an honorable mention, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's in the running.
Well,
is it?
no. I mean, the other ones are probably better, but it's still definitely a
So
thumbs
it's,
up.
so it's RE, it's Resistance or Valkyria.
I got to go. I haven't played Valkyria yet. I got my
I'd go
copy.
Resistance.
I got my copy still sealed, ready to play. But yeah, I got to go with Resistance.
I can't choose. I haven't actually played Resistance yet.
I'm
I still
voting,
haven't.
definite-
I did both.
A definite
It's
honorable mention.
R2's
with
like
Valkyria.
multiplayer is so freaking good that
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
got to go.
Valkyria is freaking awesome though.
I'm going to
Just
go
as a special note, people need to
for-
pick that game up. 'cause
Yeah, I'm really looking
it is
forward
an
to
Like
it.
it's
honorable
quiz
mention.
pack comedy.
It's awesome Sega. Not,
Oh-ho.
No, don't do that.
All right, so pick of the week's gonna be Resistance.
Pick of the week is
It's time for. Does anybody have anything to contribute to just the tip?
If you, yeah, I'm playing the review code right now.
Aren't you gonna? Just
I'm playing the review
You
code
didn't even
of
let me finish the theme song. What do
Mortal
you expect?
Kombat versus DC Universe. There's a bunch of easy trophies in there.
Yeah.
Me and Rope are doing some of them. You just
Yeah.
pop online, win a chat match, and then if you have a friend, you can go win a match flawlessly online.
Yep.
There you go, trophies.
A couple trophies.
Flawless
You get one just for like knocking somebody into the next
Yeah,
one
yeah.
down.
All you have to do is grab one dude for close combat, knock him over the thing. There's another one for doing a fatality or brutality. So if you can wait a week and all of them on online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one for Resistance, which is relatively easy to do.
Let's hear it.
Not a lot of people necessarily pick up on it, but there's certain sections like Twin Falls, Idaho, where a lot of Chimera will come running at you, and pretty much all you need to do is play through a section where a lot of them will charge you, save and quit, reload, and keep playing through that same section. You wind up getting all the kills and all the trophies for it. Plus, you can, depending upon what you have, you can rack up like multiple kills with like weapons or grenades or whatever else, and you basically get into a loop where you can just spiral out and rack up all the kills that you need for that section.
Very good.
Easy tip.
There
I think
it
what
is.
you meant
And-
was
and it boosts your-
chimera, not chimera.
Ryan, Ryan, take
They threw a
better
pen.
notes.
Anger.
I don't know what's going on over here.
Take it.
Yeah, you would not be very good in court. That's all I gotta say. All right, topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
So here's what we're doing. So this is a special
Good job.
time. That was a stealth one. It went around to the front, waved hi. You're like, oh hi, there you doing? And then you go along your way, and it sneaks up from behind and stabs you in the back of the neck.
Ran up, kicked in your back door.
Yep.
Wow.
Whispering.
So
Topic of the week.
so here's the thing. Now that the PlayStation 2 is, for all intents and purposes, dead to everybody that actually plays games, as a main hobby. Hopefully, you guys have upgraded the PS3 by now if you're hardcore PlayStation guys. But so now that the system is essentially dead, or at least like in a breathing chamber of some sort, like
emergency
Iron lung.
room.
yeah, iron lung, never to be recovered.
got the bands.
We are going
Darth
to
Vader.
next week. We haven't started doing this yet, so this would be the interesting part for topic of the week. But next week on the PS2 channel, we're going to run the top 25 PS2 games of all time.
Yeah.
This is going to be a killer list.
Spider-Man 2 right at the top.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be at the top, obviously. But so we're going to go through and we're going to do top 25 games of all time. Where do things like God of War 1 and 2 fit in there? Gran Turismo 4, Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear Solid 3.
Shadow of Destiny.
Shadow-
That was
That
the game
game
I was
is
talking about last
awesome.
week,
There you
and
go.
everybody wrote in to remind me of the title. Thank you very much for everyone who wrote in. Thank
you
you,
go.
Sam, for thinking it was awesome. I was telling
That
all
game's-
these
that
kids
game's really,
yesterday
really good.
that's the game.
The guy who directed that and came up with the whole scenario is doing something called Time Hollow on the DS. That's basically kind of deals with some of the same stuff.
Well, too bad it's on a system that sucks.
Hey, at least it keeps battery life if you turn it off.
Yeah.
Oh.
At least it has games.
Yeah, at least there's some games for it. But anyway, so we're going to go through next week. I have top 25 PS2 games. So we're going to basically use topic of the week right now as a quick little 10-minute
Topic of the
brainstorming
week.
session. Go over some of our favorite
Secretary
games
in
from the
action,
system.
Ryan Clements.
Ryan Clements is
Secretary
doing it.
on the
Scribble
job.
quickly.
And this will be, fine-tuned and translated and whatever. So, this will basically be the teaser to what will wind up on there. We're actually going to do the real work after this podcast is over. But
That's drinking.
let's get it started. Ryan, let's start with you since you're taking notes.
I would like to suggest Amplitude because I always do, and I think it deserves to be
You
on
are a
that
good
list.
man.
It's a fine game.
Indeed.
I'm gonna put
Amplitude
that
always
down.
kind of gets in the thing there where you have amplitude versus frequency.
exactly.
And, which one do you
Yeah,
put on the
it's
list?
true.
And
I own Frequency, but I've never actually played it.
You
so.
crazy man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You
You
gotta
have
play it.
tone frequency.
I think
I
most
gotta-
people who got into those two games would say that Frequency has the better soundtrack,
Yeah.
and
That's what I've heard.
Amplitude has all the gameplay evolutions that they put in there, so it's not in a big tube anymore. It runs at a better frame rate because it's actually really hard to play.
Yeah, Mark Ryan actually has played both of them extensively, I guess, and he preferred Frequency's gameplay because he liked how you could jump from any track
Yes.
in a circle
Totally
as opposed to having to go from one end
One
to
to
the
the
other.
other.
So
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and it actually
So
felt a
you
little
change
bit
your
more like making the music on the fly, which is the whole idea. You kind of fly down, you do each one of the
Which I
tracks.
love.
And you can build it however you want. Whereas with Amplitude, it was pretty much like, okay, well, this is a very set sequence. You got to do guitars first, and then you move to whatever, just to keep the combo going.
Well, not in multiplayer. You can do anything at
That's
any
true.
time, though.
That's true.
So now, speaking of music games, there's been 10 releases in the series so far, but Guitar Hero 1 and 2 have got to be on the list somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And I think the second one is the business because it added bass to it. You added actual face-off mode.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack was way better, I thought. It was more metal-oriented, but I'm a metal fan. I know not everybody agrees with that part, but
I'm actually really sick of the whole Guitar Hero / Rock Band formula, to be totally honest.
well, that's fine, and it's kind of waning on me a little bit too. But I mean, on the PS2,
yeah,
like
it
that,
belongs on the list for sure. But
Yeah.
I want to go back to the time when you're actually building the songs and they sound different each time because you're adding different tracks and it's like, okay, now it's just drums and vocals, and it's like you're forming your own breakout point in the song. Whereas in something like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, it's the same thing each time you play that song.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Well,
sick of that.
Well, with Rock Band, I think it's a kind of a little bit of a hint in what the direction where it's going to take, where you have like drum fills, right? And I think that mic fills, whatever, you can just say whatever you want.
Right.
I think that sort of thing. I think harmonics will.
Yeah, exactly.
Harmonics will eventually.
Feels like I'm barfing into the mic.
We'll eventually expand on that to where a lot of the song you can kind of mess around a little bit and add your own flavor
Oh, yeah,
to it.
totally.
And I think that'll be super cool.
Yeah, definitely.
The two God of Wars are in some fashion. That's one we gotta work out about which one goes on there. Do they both go on there? But I mean, God of War 2 is my favorite action game of all time, pretty much. So that one.
I would like to put on Devil May Cry 3 because I think that game is awesome.
I can see that being on there.
Wow, no one actually
No,
agrees.
I'm
No
not
one
disagreeing.
jumps-
I think it was
jumps
just
in
no
support.
one-
That
for me
game's my
personally,
favorite action game.
I'm not the biggest Devil May Cry fan,
I can understand.
but I have appreciation for this series.
So I'm
So,
going to put it
pretty
down.
hardcore.
We can always refine the list.
yeah.
Shadow Destiny. Same's with me on it.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. Actually, speaking of older PS2 games that are still freaking awesome, Sky Odyssey is. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It is the best flight game ever made, ever. Any platform. Like
Sky Odyssey?
Sky Odyssey.
Yeah.
Super small game made by
Old school.
Cross. This
It's spelled Odyssey.
Japanese development studio that I think is gone now, but they were part of Sony if I remember right. And it's if you can find a copy of the game, I mean it's
It was one of
fairly
the
rare
launch
these days.
titles.
Yeah,
It was
exactly. And it looked
really,
like it. I mean,
really
it
old.
looks.
Yeah.
The game is ugly as sin. Like
It's
it's
ugly.
terribly. Yeah, it's absolutely
Ugly as sin.
It makes your eyes bleed as you're playing it. But you're like,
It's-
this is
it's
so
ugly,
awesome.
but
It
you
doesn't
love it.
matter. But yeah, you like fly into the eye of a hurricane. You go like through this crazy like seaside cave where like stalactites are falling on you. It's awesome. The game is so freaking good. So.
Smuggler's Run.
Oh yeah.
Screw that game.
Yeah, I know. GTA.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. Well,
3?
What three?
Three.
Yeah,
yeah.
three.
Well, see, then with GTA, you get into the argument of it's probably it's not Vice City because that's kind of the middle.
No,
one,
but 3 blew my mind.
Yeah, but is it 3 or
three
San
or San
Andreas?
I mean, I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan leading up to that, and it was like that top-down thing, and you saw
See, I
these
didn't like the top-
screenshots
I
all
didn't
of a
like the
second.
top-down gun
Well, I know.
games,
Well,
but-
I liked them. Well, okay, I see what you're saying. But
I didn't like the controls in them.
I liked them, and then leading into it, you saw it on this like 3D plan. I'm like, well, this is gonna obviously be crap. Like, there's no way they're gonna pull this off, and then it was just amazing.
I totally agree. 3 is easily my favorite still. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I know. I
Took it
yeah,
all the way.
that
But
one-
you're right. I mean,
that one for me is the better game versus the more influential one, and you get into that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
argument about which
Yeah.
one deserves to be on the list more.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, I mean, scale-wise, San Andreas blew everything out. So
Yeah, and there's so much
ton
more
of stuff
to
to
it.
do.
It was
Yeah.
plain.
It was a much bigger game, and in in many respects, actually, it's even bigger than the GTA 4 is.
Yeah.
But GTA 3 obviously started the whole open world genre deal. So
mean,
that can't be
I
forgotten.
digress.
also gonna
Chatterbox,
be-
the original, the best. Chatterbox.
That's right.
Burnout 3. That game, dude, I will kill
Takedown?
myself if that game is not on the list, and then fire everybody else in.
Taking you all with me.
Yeah, Takedown is, in my opinion, the best arcade racing game ever made.
Yeah.
It was essentially perfect, and I think Fran underscored the game. I think he gave it like a 9.4. And Hillary and I, back when he reviewed that game, were trying to get him to go up and up and up because, man, I mean, still even today, that game is absolutely amazing.
Yep. Perfectly balanced of all the stuff they started out with, and then it didn't get too crazy.
Yeah, and then the opposite to that would be Gran Turismo, which, the 3 was great, but then 4 basically expanded on that and whatever else. It wasn't a huge leap, but
Do they use Roman numerals or
no,
numbers?
it's a numeral
Number?
4.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
For some reason I
WWE Crush Hour. Another
That's
all star
Crush Hour too.
Well, they're
Oh,
never making that.
that's not out yet.
Yeah.
I mean, am I
you
just
guys are still in
saving Shadow of the
negotiations.
Colossus and Eco, or
No,
can I
those-
put
no,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
those are
definitely.
those are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if I was writing them down yet or not.
Britney's dance beat.
All right, so let's do this one. So a lot of the games that are going on this list are pretty obvious inclusions, and I think the interesting part will be once we start breaking it down, where do the cutoffs happen? What makes it into the bottom part of the 20s, and what gets left off the list? But that'll be a little bit outside of the thing. But the interesting part about the list would be the bottom, but also the top. What are the top 5 games? What gives ranks at the top?
Yeah.
Jeff, if this was your list, what would you, off the top of your head now, what would you put as the best PS2 game ever made?
Oh God, that is going to be extremely tough because
Clearly, that's why it's
We don't have
yeah,
a medal.
I know,
we don't have a
but I
medal
mean,
here
like
yet.
part
no,
of
it
it,
doesn't matter.
part of
Everybody
it,
knows the same.
I'd probably lean between like Shadow, depending upon my mood. Sometimes Snake Eater.
Snake
I mean, like the problem with the PS2 is that there are so many good games
Yes.
that like you could rotate between like GTA 3 or an MGS 3 or
Spider-Man
Shadow.
2.
You what?
Spider-Man 2.
Sure.
Am I putting that on our brainstorm?
No, it won't make it.
I mean, like,
not going
You can waste your ink if you like.
the funny thing is that like I remember when we were doing like a top 25 list before, and I think I probably went through a couple different iterations of my list in like 10 minutes because I was like, no, but I remember this game and this game and this game, and it's almost impossible at times. It's almost like flipping a quarter.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely is, and the problem too with creating something with this with so many good games on there that you're comparing cross-genre games about which one's better, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
is this racing game better than this action game? Or like, well, you can't really.
Which is awesome. Like the fact that there are so many good games that we're doing, it's almost like an apples to oranges comparison because the genres are so wide open.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance,
great system.
I'd suggest one that wouldn't be at the top, but it would probably be closer towards the bottom. I think Gladius, which was like a strategy RPG game from LucasArts. Like they came out with something that was just completely random, but it was really deep. You had like a ton of characters that you could like play with, set in this like fantasy, like half pseudo. Like half Roman, half Gallic like area. It was really, really interesting, but it was really good, and it was kind of underrated by a lot of people. So I mean, like there's just so many things, and we haven't even like started scratching like specific years. We're just like pulling random titles out of just like thin air right now.
Yeah. Sam, what would you pick?
Top 5 out of everything, or just in general? No, I mean we covered most of the stuff.
I know they were my favorites, but I don't know if you would think of putting one of the Final Fantasies on that hit the PS2 on the list.
Oh yeah, I think 10 still has the best battle system.
Yeah, even though I didn't really like 10 and 10-2, they had a huge impact on the PS2 RPG scene for sure. So I would at least consider them up for nomination on the
10's
list.
battle system is still the best out of all.
10,
I think
definitely.
So. Yeah. Well, Sam, what would if you had to pick? Let's go top 2.
Okay.
So we'll give you that one, so you can do the coin toss. We decided later.
GTA 3 is really, really high up there. It completely blew me away. I absolutely fell in love with that whole city, the layout. I know every little back alley. I played it so much. I listened to all the radio stations. It was perfect. So that's really high up there. And then it's tough because we were just talking about it. Burnout 3 and Gran Turismo represent like two sides of like kind of the same coin. One's just arcadey, one's like super simmy, and it's a toss up between those two. But I spent so much time with both of the games. Like Burnout just kept going and going and going. There's so many freaking levels in that game, but it was awesome. I got
to 99% completion in Burnout 3 2 separate times.
Oh man!
Because I did it on the debug code, and then when the retail came out, I did it again. And it was like the last 1 or 2 things I didn't get to for the last percentage were like get like 3 tram takedowns in a race. Things like that where I'm like, well, whatever. But gold on every single race and twice through. I mean,
and I mean, like I was saying, there's so many races in that game. I don't even.
Yeah, it's insane.
The amount of content that's in there is
and then that's even
crazy. And then when you start playing Crash Mode, it's like that game's infinitely enjoyable.
Yep. I really miss Crash Mode. I miss that version of Crash Mode. It was just.
Well, I prefer Crash Mode 2 because 3 had where you basically aiming for the pickups, whereas 2 was like, hey,
that's true. As soon as you had to get the multiplier.
Yeah, if you didn't get the multiplier, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But
so either one of those two. I spent more time I think with GT4 than I did with Burnout. But
Ryan, what are you writing on there?
Odin Sphere? He put down Odin Sphere, which I
awesome. I'll just have it on
and it's
there
awesome
for now.
I don't know if it would be a top.
I just want options.
Yeah, I mean, like, because another one that I throw out there, which wouldn't necessarily be in the top, would be Disgaea.
I already put it on there. As a brainstorm.
Okay. Or like
the secretary's just writing stuff down in the official minutes, like we're not going to notice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just
where's Persona 3
things
Fez?
in there.
Oh, he's writing something else. I hate all you.
I said, where's Persona 3
die.
Fez?
All of you. Yeah.
Greg, top 2.
Die.
I'm going to fall into the GTA camp, I think. Like, it was just, I'm just like Sam. I mean, I remember when I got that, man, life shut down at college.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I did. I had the door open and people came in. There'd be days where we would just sit in the car and listen to Chatterbox.
Yeah. Dude, Chatterbox was amazing.
And this was still
so
the time
good.
when, Metallica hadn't gone around and ruined everything for everybody. So you could still music share. And I remember being on a Winamp or whatever it was and putting in Chatterbox and having it searched nonstop for weeks and months. And finally one day I came home from class and it had downloaded the entire track. And we freaked out. Like, everyone in my dorm started burning the copy and it slowly spread out so everybody could listen to it. But I mean, I was totally another guy who had the map memorized and could go anywhere and do anything. And I remember I had been playing it. I realized how I had been playing it too long. When one time I was driving by, I was like, oh, that looks like something you could hop to if I did this. And this. I drove a car over, climbed up the hood, hopped over the thing, went all the way back, and the level just ended. And then it was an alley, though, and there was a sign that Rockstar had put up. And it said, if you've gotten here, you shouldn't have.
It said, I remember exactly. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. Is what it said, or you shouldn't be able to see this. Or something
congratulations,
like that.
but you're not supposed to be. And I was like, wow, like it was one of the few times where I'd never looked at the guide for the game, so it was completely
broke the
one of
fourth
those
wall.
Crazy little things that I found on my own. It was like, man, I've been playing this game too long that I was driving by and saw it. Like,
I remember like a lot of people were saying that once you go out on the street, like you play the game for 5 hours or something, and you go out and you're like, man, I could jack that car.
Yeah.
I could totally jack that car. Or you're driving in the car and you're like, I could just weave between these two It's a stupid red light. I could go right through that.
That happened to me when I was playing the Tony Hawk games for the first time with like 1 and 2, especially with 2. Was I would go outside and be like, "There's some rails," and like I could combo this and this, and then a little 10-foot manual, and I could hit this ramp, and that happens to me all the time with a bunch of games.
Do you want to put one of the Tony Hawks on here?
No, because you're talking about 3 and 4, and then if we're talking about a PS1 list, Tony Hawk 2 is in my top 5, but
Easily.
on the PS3, it's like look at all these other games on there. I don't know if they're going to make it, but maybe. Come back and check it out.
The other thing about GTA 3 was that when it came out, the only thing that had done anything close to that was Driver at the time. Driver 2, like you could get out of the car, you could kind of run around, and GTA was every single thing that the Driver was, and then
Plus
like
so
it was the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That was like 5% of the actual game, So man, that game's good.
And it would be the thing where
I love you,
you'd beat it or whatever, and then even after you were done playing it, there's still be those days where you'd come home and start your save and drive to that one place at the T intersection where you could break out the glass, go upstairs, break out the glass, and then just wait up there and get a tank to come after you and just like sit up there and just rack up stars.
Yeah, I used to do that in the. It was like a little workout area. People would be running on treadmills or whatever.
Yeah.
Go up inside.
Nope.
Go up inside.
Up inside. That pops
Roper
some
did
cash.
like a gang symbol when he said that.
Trying to figure out how you
window.
could park cars in there to block cops from coming
That
up
was
behind
actually a
me.
lot of fun. Like trying to break the game, but they left it open enough that you could
Completely
do
break the
that.
law.
It didn't-
Man, yeah, you could jump through the ceiling in the subway. So if you get like a cars or tanks down in there, you could stack them up and then jump up on top of the cars and then jump up over top of the subway.
awesome.
Then you could walk on top of the subway system, so you're underneath the game, and you can see the tires of cars on the street were barely clipping through the bottom of the street to make them
That's
look like
awesome.
they're solid.
Yeah.
So you see where cars were underneath, and so you could shoot rockets up there, and then the splash explosion would still kill them all. So you could get 6 stars like no problem. The cops could never get you.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's like there's like a whole hidden city. You've seen that, right? Where there's
like the little test city.
Exactly. It's where they basically shot the opening cinematic where they like rob the bank and she shoots him in the face with Catalina or whatever, which is awesome. And you can get to it, people like with the I can't spoil the first 30 seconds of the game. But yeah, people who had the PC version actually, because it had modding tools and stuff, they built a bridge out of like random sections, and so you can just kind of drive there and then drop right into the city, and it's got like you can drive through the walls and everything, and you clip really. But it's just awesome to see that it's technically in the world. It's just off in some corner of the map that you normally can't get to.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave the rest of this for the list next week. But this will certainly
Nice
be
little teaser.
certainly be something very interesting to chime into.
Roper's dead and we're all fired. You know what happened.
Yeah, and you know that Burnout 3 didn't make the list. But anyway, yes, check out the PS2 channel next week. Look for that one; should be very interesting. I am expecting a bloodbath in the meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's get on with the mail call.
Ready to mail?
Mail call!
Mail?
Obama mail.
Obama.
There you go.
Oh, no.
That sounds like bomb.
First piece of mail comes from Pyromaniac. He says, what direction do you think gaming is going, or at least the individual companies? He says he really hopes that other companies, maybe you're right, aren't going to be swayed by Nintendo's sales to follow suit too hard to appeal to the casual gamers. I think this one, for me, is kind of a really up in the air thing, although I'm thinking that it's going to be that Nintendo's thing has influenced what Sony and Microsoft would do next time around in coming out with a cheaper system this time. Certainly Sony.
Yeah.
Launching at $600 has proven to be a terrible idea. And I think Microsoft's going to launch to come out at $300. I think that was the magic number for like the PS2 and that.
Yeah.
But I think that those Microsoft and Sony will definitely still try to push the envelopes as far as graphics and whatever go. I just don't think that they're going to try to, go as crazy as Sony did this time around. But I don't think anybody's going to step back and go, you know what, we're far enough along the satellite based texture memory and release the PS4 with that.
Yeah, because developers are always going to ask for more.
Yeah.
But without Kutaragi there to do the hardware design, it'll be really interesting to see if they just iterate on what the PS3 had. So throw like another cell or two in there.
Well, that's what the rumors are saying already, and that it's useful. And you got to figure that if the PS4 has the cell in it, that would make it the first Sony system, from at least from our perspective, looking at the development of it, the first Sony system that was sort of a evolutionary move as opposed to a complete redo and learning how to program for the system. So, which would be a huge boon for like the early titles and the first
they wouldn't
year
have to
stuff.
start from scratch.
It would,
Yeah,
because it takes. It seems like it
libraries.
takes. Yep. It takes like 2 years for Sony systems to sort of
Hit their
get their
stride.
feet. Yeah. And that would negate a lot of that. So that'd be kind of cool.
And then plus also, Well, we can hope that backwards compatibility in the PS4 would actually work.
Yeah.
And
God knows.
so maybe that'd be
I'm sure
kinda
one
cool.
of the SKUs of the dozen they'll put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting though to see what Nintendo's done, because it's not so much that it's encroached on the traditional, the stuff that people play games for up until the Wii came out, but it's totally pushing that little bubble out into all the casual stuff.
Yeah.
So I hope that those two markets kind of stay separate.
I think they will.
You can serve the casual market just fine without having
We
to.
sucks.
You see, big companies like EA will have those two arms. They
Right.
can do both.
Right.
And like Bethesda, they're not going to go over. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a Fallout minigame.
Yeah.
Fallout Kids
Fallout
with a Z.
Kids.
Yeah.
I think the interesting part too is
You're
special.
there are some exceptions like Super Mario Galaxy and Metroid and those sorts of things. But if you look at sales lists of franchises on that when like EA releases numbers or whatever on PS3 and 360, they'll be like, hey, we sold 2-3 million copies of this, and the Wii one sold 150,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, there are a lot of people are buying the system.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's so many games that the money is spread wide, and I don't know. The cost to develop the games aren't very much, so it's kind of less of a risk. But the rewards, I don't think, are there as much.
True, yeah.
Unless you make something that absolutely stands
Yeah,
out.
I think what we thought of Wii Music is just a clear indication that Nintendo does not have the right idea for a huge chunk of hardcore gamers.
I think they
'Cause
just
Wii
don't
Music
care.
is
They don't have
terrible.
to care
Yeah,
anymore. It
they
doesn't
don't.
behoove them to serve that
It's
platform.
just-
And there are two other people that are out there, or two other companies that have systems that are doing
Yeah, and that's fine. And like, I'm glad that games are going out to more, casual gamers and whatnot. But I like my Wii because I like being able to do Smash Brothers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also hate it. I think it's a terrible, stupid system that has terrible games.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's
There's Ryan's
I
quote
just
of
laid
the day.
down
Put it
the-
on a T-shirt and wear it around. Sean9986 says, "You guys recommend Fallout 3 even with all the bugs it is reported to have?"
Yeah.
Good God,
Yeah.
yes.
Sam had
I-
no bugs.
I had a couple bugs.
No
It
bugs?
did
No.
crash on me, but
It's-
the whole notification thing never popped up. 50 hours of that game, and it never happened. So I don't know if there's I have a lot of people on my friends list, so I wonder if it's just like the flip side to the whole wipeout thing.
Wipeout. Did they ever fix that, by the way?
Yeah, they did. They
Okay.
patched it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it works fine
patched
now. It's
Wipeout.
totally cool. So,
But buggy as hell.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
dear
it's. I hate to say
It's
this,
so
but like
great.
Bethesda has a bit of a history with their stuff being a little bit wonky at first, and they sort of try and patch it all out. So
Yeah.
I would hope that something's coming down the pike. There is that trophy patch, so if there are outstanding bugs,
Yeah,
it's not, they have
hopefully
an
they'll
opportunity to
fix
fix it.
some of the load things, because like the last time that I played, I loaded up a save game on the middle of an overpass, and the sky polygoned out, and so did part of the level, and I turned a little bit, and all of a sudden it just snapped right back into view.
Starts
I
raining
turned
cubes.
I turned back to one other side, and it went all poly all over
had
again.
the exact same thing happen.
And so all of
on
a sudden I was
some
getting
other stuff.
shot by raiders, and I'm going, where the hell is this coming from? And I hit VATS, and all of a sudden they snap into view. I was like, great, I've got like 3 of them surrounding me. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And I had a guy who just disappeared. He didn't show up. There's a guy in Megaton that gives you a mission. He just didn't appear.
Vanished,
He was gone.
yeah.
I had done some stuff, and I was like, I want to do this mission. So I just re-rolled the entire character, started over outside of the vault, and went straight to the guy, and he was never there. So I didn't.
Yeah, and I've seen a merchant explode right in front of me for no reason. which was just random, because
That's awesome.
I was walking up, and all of a
Are
sudden
you
I
sure you
just
didn't
saw...
shoot him by accident?
No, I didn't have anything. Like I was holding a baseball bat, and I was walking up, and I see a merchant, and all of a sudden I just see, and I was like, what the hell is that?
Well, at least you could loot him.
No, he was gone. Like all his corpse and everything was
It was
gone.
like a purple smoke, and then it was just all gone.
It was as if like somebody had set off like one of the frag mines and just boom, just vaporized him.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah. So the
Wow.
game does have bugs, but absolutely you should play it.
Yeah.
yes,
That's
No question.
it's still
yeah.
awesome.
And a lot of these things like the exploding merchant, that's just one of those things. That's a story to tell. It's funny as
it
hell.
is.
So.
It's hilarious.
Temporary Blindness writes in. He says, "With Mirror's Edge essentially creating a new genre, which I don't agree with. Have you heard?
Running.
Yeah, have you heard of any developers planning to tackle this genre, quote unquote,
Running.
at all? And if not, do you expect anyone to? Yeah, I don't know.
No.
So if there is any sort of genre that I think people,
Running.
which is genre is not the correct way, but if there's any sort of design that I think people will pick up on in this game, I think it's the sort of
Running
first person
Yeah.
Prince of Persia stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that coupled with more combat.
But
might-
technically, that's already been done. That was called Assassin's Creed. And I mean, part of it was
Yeah,
like
but
the running thing was more the parkour thing, and they've already had like a couple parkour games that have been released, because there have been free running and there have been a couple of other things. So
yeah, but I mean, I could see somebody coming out with a very heavy weapons-based first-person shooter where you can also do these sorts of things, like it's basically a first-person Matrix game almost. And I could see that happening.
Pretty freaking rad, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I think of somebody just creating a game where you just run from everybody, I don't think that people are gonna. I mean, Mirror's Edge will probably be a franchise and they'll keep going, but I don't think that that's going to happen.
But if you're looking for other games in that genre,
Running.
you could go check out your reviews of those Summer Olympic games, because there was lots of running in them.
Yeah, there are lots of running in this, and throwing. So you can go check those out.
So it's
And
in some ways, those are the
jumping.
definitive
And
Mirror's Edge
takedowns
games.
of
Yes.
armed cards.
And it makes me feel like dancing.
I don't know. Ryan had Raisin Bran again this morning, and I think
Wow.
last week.
I think you got to put him off
Last
that.
week it gave him the sugar rush, I think, and he was.
Sugar Rush? That's a healthy cereal.
I know there's none in it, but I gave it to you anyway. I think it broke your system.
All right.
And maybe like you had sugar stored up inside, and then the
released it.
Raisin Bran made it come out in your. And that,
Makes
you know,
I
sense.
just start
it's like
flipping tables.
It's like a flashback almost. But this week, man, you've lost it.
yeah.
But
No, I'm pretty.
I'm not saying it's bad for the show. I'm just saying you lost it.
It's more entertaining.
You got to
Robo-
restrict that brand intake.
Yeah, Romo to Witten writes, and he says, any easy tips for experience points in Fallout 3? Any places you know where I can level grind? Beyond?
Beyond?
So, here's one, although for the next minute or so, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler.
Taste spoilers.
In case you don't want to hear this. If not, just skip ahead for a minute. But if you go up, we found this yesterday, or off people posting online. If you go up near where Minefield is, which is towards the northern part of the map or whatever, there is a UFO crash site. And at the crash site, there's a ray gun that you can pick up and a bunch of ammo and whatnot. And then that thing does like 65 points of damage.
So
if I remember
ridiculous.
right.
It's awesome.
So you could eventually, I mean, there's really bad stuff around there, but you could run, if you know where it is, you could run straight up there from the beginning of the game, pick that up, and start killing things you're not supposed to be able to, and basically, jump ahead in a bunch of levels.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing a little bit of trial and error, Minefield, where you just talked about, is a town that's got a ton of mines all over the place, like a couple dozen. So if you go really slowly, you can disarm all the mines, and every time you do that, you get like 7 experience points. So you're going to level
you
up
can
at
also
least
collect
once
them.
or twice, and you can collect. Yeah, exactly. And then you have a crap load of mines you can sell or use or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good to lay down in front of people that trust you,
Yeah.
and then shoot them once so they run at you, and then they just explode and die.
You can also pickpocket them and just drop a couple of like on their person, and then just back up really quickly, and then watch them explode.
Will the mines explode if you put them?
Yeah,
Put them in there?
anything basically that's explosive like gets triggered or
Yeah.
whatever as you put it in there. So
Very good.
yeah.
So there you go. Big Boss X Hunter writes in. He says, "Can we ask our own trophies questions?" I don't know what you mean by that, but sure, do whatever you want. And he says,
Knock yourself out, kid.
Okay.
"Yeah." It says, "Any date on the keyboard for the PS3 controller?" No.
Yeah, I don't think we
it's
really
like
talked about it.
Soonish, but
They were saying, I think, December-ish, weren't they? Like,
yeah.
before the holidays.
The weird thing is peripherals like that from Sony kind of float around in the ether
Yeah.
and then eventually come out.
In the
Like I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, like the
great
PSI was
ether.
just sort of, it was long. It was announced like the IP camera for the system and all, and then it just sort of took forever to come out, and who knows? But
But it came with Eye of Judgment.
ooh. Moving
So
on.
they need a
Okay.
texting game now.
Yeah, moving on. Dom OSX says, "What multi-platform games
Typing of the day.
have you guys personally chosen to get on your PS3 over your 360? When do we think that we'll start to see PS3 versions of multi-platform games looking significantly better than the 360 version?" The second part first, I don't think we're ever going to see PS3 games, multi-platform games, look significantly better than the 360 one. First off, the systems are fairly close in power. If somebody really digs in, they can do more with the PS3. I think everybody kind of realizes that now. But if you're looking at EA games or whatever, and somebody they're making whatever it is, they're not going to spend a huge budget to make just the PS3 one look a little bit better. You might see some things here and there where the game runs a little bit better, whatever, but it's not going to be a night and day difference.
As long as it's still coming out on the same cycle. I mean, they're talking about like Red Alert 3 possibly looking better because they've got extra dev time and they're supposed to up-res
Yeah, and you saw
everything,
it with like Oblivion or whatever. They had like a year of
Yeah,
extra.
so-
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
day
so
and
that-
date, nah,
Day and date,
not going to
no.
be a huge difference. I don't think.
As far as multi-platform go, I mean, I play almost everything I can now on the PS3. I rarely ever play on 360. I'm playing Fallout on 360 because of the downloadable content.
I intentionally did Rock Band on PS3 because of the hard drive space.
See, I kept it on 360 because I had all my songs. But I mean, everything else, I'm playing Dead Space. I still haven't played that game yet, but I got my PS3 copy at home. Mirror's Edge. I've been playing PS3 one.
I have Soul Calibur on PS3.
With the
you go.
exception of multi-console games, like I have barely turned my 360 on this entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
Me too.
I mean, there's good stuff
Yeah,
out there.
there's
Just
good
haven't-
stuff, but,
there's also really good stuff on the
I mean,
PS3
like
to keep you
I've
busy.
barely had the time, so I'm just like playing through a lot of the PS3 things.
Yeah.
It's called Little Big Planet.
Yep. But that's not multi-platform.
I know, I'm just saying.
You feel.
That's
Hopefully
the
my,
reason why.
hopefully my Little Big Planet level will be live for next week's Beyond, and then I will need everyone to come heart me and do everything.
Do you want to?
I
tell
don't.
everybody
I don't
what
want
it
to spoil it. 'cause
I
think it'll
already
be better.
heard
I know. I'm pretty sure everyone. in
Is
the
that the
room
one where...
is? Yeah.
Yep.
The promise sounds cool though. So I haven't seen
wheel.
it, but I'm interested to see what you've done with it.
Yeah.
Did you get the car to work?
No.
Okay.
But I have. Last night I came home and I was gonna start doing stuff, but then I got caught up in the iPhone.
Oh, this is perfect. I can ask
God,
this.
what?
I gotta throw this in here real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
He just lit up.
I'll ask you guys, and this is also any readers that know this and they can send this tip in would be awesome. I really appreciate it.
Feel free to give Ryan a call.
In Meerkat Kingdom.
Yeah.
I love that stage, by the way. It's so awesome. It looks like after you beat Meerkat Kingdom, there are 2 different survival challenges that are possible to check out.
Yeah.
I found the key to one of them, which is the easy key, which you can clearly see as you're going through the level. I have no idea how to unlock the second one, and I have not found a single person online.
I've gotten 100% on those levels, so I can help you find where I couldn't remember offhand, but we can go through the level and I can show you where it is.
Yeah, I think it's
But
one of the parts.
if readers know off the top of their head where the second key in that
I
level
can
is,
show you at some point.
I think it's
Well,
I think it's like a 2-player. I think it's one of the sections you have to have 2 people to get.
Okay.
I think.
However, playing that game, I have not mastered, but I have done using 2 different controllers.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, go Sack boys! I'm controlling both of you at once.
You are the puppet master.
Yes.
Let's see. Moving on. Trucks the Stampede 1 says, do you think it's worth it for big games such as Fallout 3 and GTA 4 to release trophies months after release? GTA 4 got trophies this month, but it was released in April. If the developers don't implement them in the beginning, should they go back and patch them? I don't know.
I
Greg,
prefer to
Greg,
get them
what's
at
your
first.
opinion on this one?
I think that Pixel Junk Monsters had the right idea, and it was that GTA came out with trophies, awesome, and I'm not gonna play GTA again. I mean, I liked it. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like sitting there and trying to grind through to get the under 30 hours or whatever. And Pixel Junk Monsters, Sam and I were talking about this. You played it a lot, but I wouldn't want to go back and do everything again. And they're like, you don't have to.
Yeah,
Here's
this is a
new
completely
challenges.
different-
Here's something new to do with it. So I don't like the idea of going. Fallout personally, I think has plenty of time still to patch trophies in and not have it be that big of a deal. I personally still haven't bought a copy of it yet because I'm hoping they're going to patch trophies in and then it'll give me the reason of why I just want to buy it on PS3. I'm waiting because I still have a backlog of games I need to get through before I sit down to dedicate 60 hours to that game.
I think part of it depends on exactly how the trophies wind up getting implemented. If it winds up taking into account some of the things that you've done, especially the games that are stat heavy, then cool. Because I mean, not only are some people not going to buy it immediately when it comes out, so like farther down the road, like those people are just getting into getting the game and they get trophies. But the people that have played a lot of it, it's like, okay, here's some trophies grandfathered in. But I think if it becomes kind of like a design choice where it's like, especially if it's a multi-console game and they go, we're going to have the achievements for the 360, to hell with the PS3, we'll get to that maybe a little bit later with the patch.
Yeah.
That's where it
Well, I
starts to
think-
get a little
See,
bit
I think
like
that's
questionable.
bogus also.
And it's going to eventually be part of the technical requirements checklist.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna
they'll
have
absolutely enforce it, probably starting sometime around right now. So games that come out in 2009 are not going to be that bad.
Right.
But I think I agree with both of you guys. Like, I think if it's a trophy, if the way they're set up is sort of bonus content for the game rather than just being a mirror of all the achievements that were there in the first place for 360 owners, that's what I'm totally down with. Pixel Junk did it really well. What do you call it? Super Stardust HD was amazingly well done because it made you do stuff in that game, and it used the add-on packs that you normally would never do, and it made me a way better player.
Well, the
way better
thing with
player.
Super Stardust too is that's a game that's meant to be played over and over and over again. And you play a session lasts half an hour, and then it's not a GTA 20, 30, 40 hour game.
Yeah.
I think that I agree with all those. I think that there were a couple missed opportunities for games that would have warranted you to play through them again because of the timing. I think not having patches go into the first Resistance, say a month ago, was a missed one where you're going, hey, 2's coming out. I haven't played the first game in 2 years. I want to run through it again and get recaught up with the story.
Yeah.
That was a perfect opportunity for that to happen. But
I think Heavenly Sword would have been another good addition too.
Yeah, to make people go back and
I
play
mean,
it.
isn't it? It's the greatest hits now, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, please.
So I mean, right there, that would have been a great idea to be like, well, a lot of it came out and there was mixed opinions on it and yada yada, but now it's super cheap and you can get trophies and you should go give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that in like 3 or 4 months from now, we probably won't be having this discussion about trophies.
No.
Everything will
absolutely.
happen, so it'll be
So-
totally moot
But
point.
Funny story, I listened to a podcast Beyond episode
Beyond?
1 a couple days ago, and I remember we're talking about home like it was coming the next day. So I don't give Sony that leeway
But see,
anymore.
that's the thing though, is that you really wonder, like, considering it's going to be mandated, it's like, so what's the big deal? Like, why can't these people just go, okay, we know we have the Switch for the 360, just bring it over? And part of that's like,
Well, I mean, I don't blame developers who still like right now. Like SmackDown doesn't have trophies. So that's
I
coming
say
out next
lazy.
week. I mean, I think that's something you build in at the base probably somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's as easy as just copying Switch. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I was talking. They did say some developers have said that it's actually pretty easy the way they have it all set
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
It's not
Well, I
that.
mean,
It's
it's
not.
probably
It's
case
not
by
a
case
magic
basis,
cure.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
It's
and
case by
it's got to
case.
be programmed. I think if they were far enough along, the hooks were included with some of the SDKs that were out there prior to the trophy release. So if they started their game really early or they
Yeah.
started prototyping or something, then they're going to be locked in. But Fallout's a perfect example where Pete over at Bethesda was basically saying, yeah, it's easy to do. In fact, we were both
We were
Jeff
there.
and I were talking to him. He said it's easy to do. We just have to set aside a little time and patch it in. But it's something that's much easier than trying to add in, say, like custom soundtrack support
Yeah.
or something like that, where you have to reallocate all the memory. The stuff's there. It's just you got to build it for the
yeah,
hooks.
and they're
So-
planning on doing it
and
soon.
yeah, and it'll be a moot point
some point,
next year
so, yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So
2779 says, now that Corey Barlog and David Jaffe are gone from developing God of War 3, who is heading up the game and should we be worried?
Sackboy.
Yeah. No, I don't know if there's, so far as I haven't seen, that there hasn't been any sort of official director
Yeah,
title
I
given to
can't
anybody yet.
Blogneck.
Yeah.
Blogneck and Sackboy.
God, that'd be the most terrible game of all time.
And then Kratos came to his house.
Yeah, but I am not worried one bit. I went to Santa Monica Studios back a couple months before 2 was coming out, and I guess it was maybe 3 or 4 months. But so I went down there and I played the first part of 2 or whatever, and I met a fair number of the people that were down there, and they were all incredibly intelligent people, know what's going on, and it's not the sort of thing where I know at some places. Usually these are the crappier studios. You have an art guy who just sits off by himself and just takes direction and isn't involved. Everybody that was there that I talked to knows what's happening the whole process. They're all in tune with what's going on, and it's a very, I think people, if they had the skills to do somebody else's job, I think they could step right in and know where they were supposed to go because the whole thing works so well. I think that they're so intertwined that I'm not worried about that happening at all. I mean, obviously there's always the worry where okay, well, Steven Spielberg makes a movie and then now he's not directing the sequel, but you have the same actors. It's there's still that sort of thing, but I'm not worried that it's going to be fantastic.
and it seems like they're really collaborative too. So you can see it in the behind the scenes stuff for God of War 2. Everybody sort of got involved with all the meetings. You can tell there's a ton of crossover.
Yep.
Roles aren't so strictly defined that they can't someone who is on their art team can't help out with something else. So the fact that Corey came from animation,
Yeah.
was the animation lead on the first game and ended up directing the second one shows just how organic and kind of fluid the whole process is. So.
And then our last question of the day comes from Toxicity8. He says, which are you more stoked for? Team Eco's next project or God of War 3?
Oh.
Team
this is a good
Eco.
one.
Team Eco.
Yeah, I got to go with Team Eco's
I
project.
still don't like Kratos. Sorry.
Blasphemy.
Phantom Zone him. Phantom Zone. Phantom
Yeah.
Zone.
I stand with Clements on this one.
Understand from me that my most...
I don't hate him. It's just he's not a character I get behind.
I believe my 3 most anticipated games, I'm not going to count Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 3 proper in this one because that's who knows how far off. But my 3 most anticipated games of across anything would be Team Eco's next game, God of War 3, and Gran Turismo 5. So saying that I'm more looking forward to Team Eco's project is not slighting God of War 3 in any fashion because that's probably my number 2.
Yeah.
But I mean this is. These are what's better, pizza or pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Sausage or pepperoni?
You know what I can't wait for?
Huh.
Infamous.
looks
I'm
very
very
good.
excited for that game.
I'm very excited for that as well.
I always wondered why you kept saying that, and I guess it just dawned on me just now that you're a huge comic and superhero fan, and that's probably what's driving
Just
your...
dawned on you?
And,
Just
and
dawned on
the
me.
comics, the
Well, I
little
made the
cutscenes.
connection because I previously I hadn't really known that Infamous was super heavy into comic-driven story and whatnot. And,
There you go.
I saw it at TGS.
That's actually how they introduce the levels.
The giant
It's all
bust of
comics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Superman sitting on his desk, or the Superman posters,
No,
or
you
the
guys-
Superman
Superman.
memorabilia just didn't.
Superman?
What's a bust?
Huh.
Go.
Well,
Quickly moving on.
All right, moving on to the end of the the random segments at the end of the show. Is there what's happening with the NCAA tournament? Is that thing? Is it actually
It's
over?
long over.
Yeah, we talked about that last
Yeah.
week, didn't we?
I couldn't
finished that
remember
last
if you
week.
had done if the final had happened.
Sticks and picks, right? Winner?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, something like that.
That's over.
Resistance 2, we should start playing
Resistance 2,
some, huh?
we should get up co-op.
Get up in that piece?
Get up in that piece.
So we will we'll talk about beatdown possibilities.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Because as of like Tuesday, I was like top 15 in the world, but
You
then
were?
I stopped. Yeah.
Everybody come for Jeff.
Guess who's
Man,
But
I
I
gotta
stopped playing,
check my stats
my
and see what's
Medic.
going on there. They weren't
Yeah.
updating.
PSN hit of the week. Who's it going to be?
I say Sam Bishop.
Wait. Now here's the question. I was thinking about this earlier, but Sam, how many people are on your friends list right now?
It's got to be somewhere around like 60. So maybe 65.
Okay.
You don't have to accept them when they say beyond.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right. Well, send Sam some Beyonds.
Yeah, it will very quickly fill up, I'm sure. So.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
his PSN name is just Sam Bishop.
Yep.
So that's
Clever
very
girl.
easy.
Yeah.
Clever girl.
I don't hide behind a funky.
You don't hide
pseudonym.
behind a raptor?
No. What? No.
Nothing. I was referencing something
I
Greg
got
said.
I
Let's see. Do you have an entry in your
PSN
the
hit
brand new special segment called Liar?
That was a one-shot deal. You are wearing your shirt today, I've
I
noticed.
do have my shirt. It's on.
Oh,
You guys
man.
are the ones. You know what? It's
You know
open
what?
everybody.
I got it this morning. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting dressed. I'm tired. My daughter woke up like 6:30, so I'm like, oh god. So I'm getting dressed, and I put on my mini boss's shirt, and I was getting ready to walk out the door, and I'm like, oh no, it's Thursday. I'm like, dude, and I started going through my drawer. I have probably about 30 T-shirts in my drawer, so I'm going through it. I can't find them. It's jam packed because I did the laundry last night, and I'm like.
Throwing shirts up
No,
into
and
the
I'm like,
air.
and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I can't find it. I'm like, where the hell is it? I'm like, I gotta go. I was running late, and my wife's like, check in the dirty laundry because there's only a couple things in there. I'm like, it's not in there. So I'm like, it's gotta be
There's
clean.
no way
Where
it's
is
in
it?
there.
I like yanked the drawer out of my dresser. I'm like, I put it on my bed. I shoved through all the shirts. I find it. And I'm like, all right.
This is the
Now I'm
power of
covered.
the brand new segment.
Brand new segment liar. Brand new special segment.
Yeah. So now I also vow to whenever I do laundry to take the shirt when I fold it and then put it aside. Special. So
You should have one of those in case
Easily
of emergency
accessible.
break glass. Thursday break glass.
there you go.
shirt on other shards of glass.
But see, now that the segment had such a big opening, you have to come up with like something. To
I didn't
follow
want
up.
it to be a segment. You guys are the ones who wanted it on the list.
You
got to
you
start
introduced
playing.
it.
You were the one that said
said
that.
it was gonna be
You
a
wrote it
segment.
on the list. You wrote special segment
Set-
live.
Yes,
Oh,
for that
oh.
one thing. Special
I see.
segment means it's a special.
No,
It's
because
a-
then afterwards you're like, and you should put it on the list and still have special segment on
Oh,
it.
well, I'm... All right, fine. Part of the brand new special segment, Liar, I call out liars every week. Ryan Clements, you are a liar! Everyone go listen to episode 66 when brand new special segment Liar began, and you will find that I did not say put it on
I
the
think
list.
you said it after the podcast was over.
Oh, how convenient. Here's Ryan Clements. He's going to sit here and be all scruffy and quiet, but he's really spinning a web of lies. Big old string of web coming out of his butt, and he's making a web of lies behind us, and he's going to try to ensnare us all in and suck our blood. Not today, Clements.
I always knew you were
That
a
was
liar.
worth it.
All right, that I think brings us to the end of the show.
Well,
Do we have any tournament winner? No,
No, I think Beast is probably coming
on
back from his vacation now.
Where'd he go,
yeah,
Poconos?
soon. I'm not sure.
I say Poconos.
Probably repairing facial surgeries everywhere.
Where is the Poconos? The
Cuba.
Poconos are always like one of
Bahamas.
those things where everybody's like, back in like the late 80s, I guess, people are like, I'm going to the Poconos. You're like, where the hell are the Poconos? Are they in the mountains?
I would think Bahamas.
Maybe.
No,
The
it's
Keys?
not
Cayman
Bahamas.
Keys?
No, I have no idea.
See,
That's
my
a really
thing
good
is, it
question.
sounds like
Oh, do you know?
Pocahontas.
Do you know there, Jeff?
So I'm like,
In
is
the
it,
Appalachian Mountains somewhere?
It is up in the mountains, but it's not. No, it's not the Bahamas.
where is it?
It's in the mountains? It's not like sandy and sunny?
No.
Oh, that's stupid.
Uh-oh.
Why do you want to go there?
That's what I'm saying. It was just the thing you
Some
threw
people
around.
want to camp. Some people, like, depending upon the time of the year, like.
Eh. All right. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. Who's got the song this week?
Ryan does. I'm going to give him a beat, and he's going to let this Raisin Bran sugar run
Oh,
through his
God.
body.
Wait, no, hold on now.
Jeez.
I
Yeah.
don't-
Let it run unchecked.
You want me to freestyle?
Yeah.
You didn't,
no.
you didn't prepare a song?
No, I don't. I don't have anything.
Oh, man.
This is either the better songs when we just
I
make
like
them up.
doing beats
C-game.
better for you,
Too
but I
bad.
guess
It's your turn. You got to let it wash over you.
All right.
All right.
This is gonna be terrible.
Let it take you
Let me know
away.
you're gone.
Let the beat take you away.
Boom, 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 boom.
This is not instrumental, Ryan. Come on.
I know. I don't know. I
This
don't
is
know
only
what
long
style
video.
of song this is.
Just start rapping.
Do you think
There's a gangster rap up in here.
Oh man.
Well, that's not a gangster.
It doesn't
This
matter.
is now
It's a new style gangster rap.
This
You got
is
like
now
you got the
D
funk
game.
going on in the back.
Somebody help here?
No.
I honestly don't know what to sing.
Oh come on.
Oh man, this is
F
epic
game.
fail.
Oh, Jeff, it's epic fail. You sing a song right now. I'll edit it out. I'll edit it out. That's fine.
Greg is taking over as the court marker. I guess we should just end this one for her.
Yeah.
This one is dead.
Put us all in her misery.
Epic fail is Ryan Clements. He's got a lot of hair and he takes long showers. Epic fail is Ryan Clements. Eats Mentos cause he smells like piss.
Totally uncalled for.
We'll see you guys next
I
week.
was just joking. Epic fail.
Beyond!
Oh my god, this is terrible.